there. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to introduce you, man. So, Adnan, as I mentioned, I think on a call, Divya didn't work out, and so we were very, very fortunate to replace her with Anjan, who has been spectacular thus far. So, he's on the call, and he's going to be helping us out with the subsequent development efforts.
Okay.
So, I sent you guys an updated Sprint 2 spec that details what we're going to be doing for this next sprint. Both of you have an opportunity to review it.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So before we go any farther talking about who's going to take what, does anybody have any questions on what's to be done so far?
I don't have any questions now.
I am fine right now too.
Okay. All right. So as before, I'm gonna modify the Google Doc that we've been using to track responsibility. So
yeah,
I'll add a
I
new
haven't
tab.
done it yet.
Okay. So I'll add a new tab. For actually, I take that back. We've got Sprint 1. So I'm just gonna modify that particular one, add a tab for Sprint 2, and just like for code file and responsibility. And we'll continue to work from there as our guide. You handled the user services before.
Yes.
Let's continue that.
Okay.
So indirect user services has to be modified. So let's have you handle the updates to that and to the user model. Anjan, you work with product services, so let's have you take product services and support case services.
Sure.
Okay. And of course, as before, right, we're writing unit test code in addition to our actual development work. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Sure. But we might need to update the test code later on once we finish the work because, I mean, I wrote the test practice on Thursday and then it looks like, you modified one of the, I think, a case model to, have the product in there. So it was failing because, I wasn't getting, they're not really querying the product from the server in the asset model or another classes. So we need that, right?
Yeah, so if we need to update the queries, right, we can certainly do that. That's one of the reasons that I want you guys to continue working with the same classes. You're going to be more familiar with them and with the updates that you put in place. I also wanted to have an architectural conversation, not an architectural, but a design conversation with you guys. So if you take a look at the the model classes that we put in place, you'll notice that we have quite a few properties which are just wrapping fields. And to pull back the curtain a little bit, this design was in place prior to this service code responsibility. So let me clarify that a little bit. Originally, this was a user interface project, and I was not managing the work that we're doing now to rewrite the service layer. As a consequence of that, I designed the model classes without any knowledge of the underlying service layer, and simply was using that to make sure that we had all the different fields that we needed, not knowing where they all came from. Now that we're managing this, and I'm looking at the service models, I'm realizing that we are creating more work for ourselves. And this actually came out of the code reviews that we're going to start joining this week. So as we look at the service model, the model classes, what I wanted to talk talk with you guys about is replacing all the code where we are simply wrapping the model class, right? So, for example, when we output the name, right, rather than having a property which wraps the record and outputs the name, let's just use the name directly from the S object, which is in the record property and in all of our records. Does that make sense?
A little bit.
Okay.
Is
so,
the WebEx not working?
Adnan, if you... I'm sorry, what was the question?
Is the WebEx not working?
The WebEx is up, actually. I'm not displaying anything yet, but the WebEx is up and running.
I'm trying to go to it.
So, I can actually show you exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
If
Oh,
you're
there it
able
is.
to join the WebEx.
Okay. Just got in.
So, Anjan, I see that you're in there. The TLS region is a great example, right? So, all we're doing with this is we're just wrapping this particular property. We're creating a property which is wrapping a field. All it's doing is outputting this. So, RMA eligible is a better example. I'm sorry, it's an example of a property that we should keep because it's doing a bunch of calculation. By the way, are you going to update this like we talked about last week?
I did. I mean, there is no query, so.
Country region.
But I have it as a property and then.
String user country. User country. Go back. This is the part that I want to avoid now. Yeah, I don't want us to have to get that query every time, right? So, if you want to do this...
The user query and then this one too. Okay.
Actually, what I would prefer is that this value is provided as the parameter.
As a parameter. Sure.
Yeah, and that way when we're creating these asset models, right, we execute that query one time because the country region setting is always going to be unique to that user. It's always going to be the same, right? So we don't need to query it every time. So, okay.
Okay. Sure.
Yep.
Well,
get back to
setting, right? Alright.
Yeah, passing the custom setting value. Cool. And then also for this, instead of this long query here, I'm sorry, this long comparison, use this string dot is blank.
Sure.
Right? Because then this goes away. It gets a lot simpler.
Yep. Okay.
So I'll save that up, and that way, when you copy it down, it'll be easier. You'll have the example. But, so for this property, right, we're doing a bunch of comparisons, and we need Boolean, right? We want that in place. For this one too, right, we're doing a calculation, so it's a value to us. But some of these other ones, all we're doing is wrapping record values. And it makes the code more complicated to read. It makes it more code that we have to test, right? So what do you guys think about getting rid of all of these properties where all we're doing is regurgitating what's in the record itself?
Sure. Yeah.
What do you guys think? Do you think that's a good way to go?
Yeah, I mean, we can use the field name exactly, so we don't have to define the property and the class, so, yeah.
Right. Okay. Alright. I'm in favor of that as well. Adnan, do you have any objection to doing it that way?
No, sir.
Okay. So then, in addition to updating for the sprint, let's plan on taking those properties out. Don't do it right away because unfortunately you won't be able to. The UI code is probably dependent on those properties, so I will coordinate with the offshore team remove the references to those properties, and once they're done, then we'll go ahead and remove them from all model classes. But let's plan on doing that for this sprint. So today, right? Let's start on what's in the spec. Start with creating the methods, even if they're just empty implementations. Let's get the protocol in place so that the offshore team can write code against it, and then start flushing the methods out, start writing test code for it. And this is a shorter sprint in terms of work. So let's take the opportunity to kind of tighten everything up that we didn't get to do during sprint one. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Okay. And I'll update that spreadsheet, like I said, send it over to you guys. Well, I'll update it, and you guys already have access. If you guys have any questions as to who's going to be handling what. Okay?
Okay.
Sure. Okay. And then you guys should have received emails giving you access to our code review repository. Did you guys both get those?
I don't think I have that. I haven't received an email since Friday.
Okay. All right. Let me check into that then, because I know that they were created for you. But let me see what I can do about getting the credentials either forwarded to you or resetting your passwords, right? Which will notify you guys. But you'll have access to sure. So this is our code review repository. You guys will have access to this folder. Under clients, there's a Western Digital folder, sandbox, and then there's a dev sandbox in there. And there's obviously a source directory, just like you would have using whatever tool you guys use, right? So obviously you have the source directory. All of our stuff is going to go in the classes. And I've checked quite a bit of code in already, but there are some elements which are missing. And the reason for that is that I want to give you guys the opportunity to check your code in directly and then start joining our code review and give you an opportunity to introduce yourselves to the Google team and be part of the community. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. The only one for getting the credentials forwarded to you guys, and just let me know if you have any difficulty getting in here. Otherwise, right, all of these fields, all of these classes which have been created, so I know, just as an example, John, you worked on indirect RMA and indirect support, right? We need to get those checked in so that we can review them with the team this week. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you very much, and if you have any questions about the assignment, as always, feel free to reach out.